All right, this one's gonna require a little imagination. You were born in Panama, in Nepal, in Senegal, in Paraguay. You were born in Mexico, in Dublin, in Tokyo, in Manila, Damascus, Stuttgart. You were 4 when your parents brought you to New York. Only 6 when you moved to Florida. Just 5 when you landed in Iowa. You loved Yellow, you loved Grover, you loved Yoo-Hoo, Bart Simpson.
Don't have a cow, Dad.
You wanted to be a Ninja Turtle, an animal doctor, a ballet dancer. You've seen Clueless 17 times. Austin Powers more than 20.
Yeah, baby!
You rooted for the Bulls, the Cardinals, the Raiders. You cheered when Michael Phelps broke the Olympic record in Beijing. You went to Warped Tour, Lollapalooza, Bonnaroo, Coachella. You went to the mall, the lake, the bay, the shore, the Cheesecake Factory. And when America faced its darkest days, you mourned like everyone else. You held your neighbor. You volunteered. But now imagine learning early on that your family had a secret. That at any moment, someone you loved could be taken away from you.
He hugged his sons, all Americans, as they did best to hold back tears.
Imagine all those things you heard about being anything you wanted.
Imagine.
Going to college, traveling the world, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those didn't apply to you.
Imagine when you get pulled over and you see those lights. Imagine that instant being stretched for 10 to 15 years. That's what it feels like.
Now imagine things began to change.
This morning, Secretary Napolitano announced new actions my administration will take.
The government was making a promise.
Our nation's immigration policy.
The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals Program, or DACA, allowed young people who were brought to the United States as children to remain in the country as long as they didn't have a criminal history.
Applicants must be in school, have a high school diploma, or be a military veteran.
If you applied and were accepted, you could live and work legally in the U.S. for renewable 2-year periods. You could finally live your life out in the open. So you filled out the forms, you paid the fees, you gave your address, your cell phone number, and to your great relief, you were accepted. Now you're learning coding, paying taxes. You work for Apple, JP Morgan, Amazon. You're giving back, you're giving birth, you're in the Army, you're a doctor, you're a Marine.
I'm here today to announce that the program known as DACA that was effectuated.
Now they were breaking their promise.
The Obama-era program protected nearly 800,000 dreamers.
And everything you did,
the administration will phase
none of it counted.
By allowing current permits to expire.
And the kicker is that you already gave them all your information, so they know exactly how to find you. You feel angry, you feel betrayed, you want to speak out, but if you do, you run the risk of being exposed. Imagine you were at the mercy of your fellow Americans to stand up and say something. What would you want them to say?
The backlash is building, with protests from coast to coast.
Millions of Americans have come out in support of DACA recipients, and not just for humanitarian reasons. DACA makes economic sense as well. Ending DACA will reduce Social Security and Medicare by $24 billion over the next decade, which is about how much Snapchat's worth. And if we removed all 800,000 dreamers from the economy entirely, where'd they go? It would cost the U.S. government $460 billion. That's the money that wouldn't be going to America's schools, or hospitals, or Social Security, or farm subsidies, or the military, or the annual Christmas tree lighting. How's that gonna bring Christmas back? And lastly, finding a path to citizenship for dreamers is not a partisan issue. According to nearly every major poll, over 75% of Republicans agree that dreamers should be allowed to stay in the country. What? Yes, no, it's true. And according to a Fox News poll, yes, a Fox News poll, 83% of Americans support a pathway to citizenship for dreamers. Could we really be united on this? Even the president has gone on the record supporting dreamers.
We're talking about taking care of people that were brought here, people that have done a good job and were not brought here of their own volition.
I have a love for these people, and hopefully now Congress will be able to help them and do it properly.
But we are running out of time. Every day that goes by, approximately 122 people lose their DACA protection, which means they lose their ability to work and must go back to living in the shadows, or worse.
no options for Garcia except settle back into the country she left behind over 2 decades ago.
An Oakland nurse and her husband.
Over 10,000 people have already lost their status, and 12,000 more stand to if nothing happens by March 5th. So the clock is ticking. Sometime between now and next Friday, there's going to be a vote on a bill. Liberals and conservatives agree that this is the best opportunity to finally pass the DREAM Act, a piece of legislation that will secure a path to citizenship for dreamers. So, in closing, this is not some group of people in a galaxy far, far away. These are our friends, these are our neighbors, these are our students, our doctors, soldiers. We all eat turkey at Thanksgiving, hamburgers and hot dogs on the 4th of July. We've shared a past. Now let's share a future.
Yeah, baby!
Wondering what you can do? Call 202-224-3121 to get connected to your congressman. Doesn't matter if it's a Saturday, doesn't matter if it's a Sunday, doesn't matter if no one picks up. They judge this stuff on volume, and this is what you say. Hello, Miss Congresswoman. I am, insert your name, and I'm calling on you to pass the DREAM Act. Because if you don't, I'm not going to vote for you in 2018. Which, by the way, is less than a month away. Happy holidays.